Adding things to your slider, can it be easier? As you know, sliders are very important. The slider is this thing right up here. It's important to know and understand how these things work, because you know that the things that go on the slider have a real good high priority in your site. So in this case, in a lot of cases, we put events up as sliders, but that's not always true. And so what we can do here is add in all the events that you want. It's not that hard to do. There's a threefold process. Number one, is there a graphic involved? Is there a title? And then there is this little description thing that we have here, and we're going to be briefly discussing about how to make all this happen. Now, when we talk about sliders, there's one thing I want you guys to understand. We have a choice. We can either put pages or posts in here of a particular category, but what we cannot do is mix and mingle them. Not yet. Okay. Here is the streamlines. We could make the slider be about us, about the medical form, and about times and locations. All right, but what we cannot do is make it about us, the medical form, times, locations, and all the events that he has going on too. So you cannot mix and mingle all of them. Now we're having an issue with one client where they're wanting some pages and they're wanting some of their events. And once we start editing that, it becomes out of control. And it becomes really difficult to keep up with. So you get to choose. Do you want your pages? You know, your pages is any page on there that does not change regularly, and then you have your events, which will come and go. So you get to choose which one is it, your events or your pages. Also, if you just keep up with a blog, you can. In this case, David has his own blog. Now we could put his blog up there, but we cannot do blog and events. All right, so he either has a blog on his slider or events on his slider, but he cannot have both. I hope you guys understand. Now, one workaround that we do have is adding in the pages, and then we can make this events as a single page, but when it comes to the slider, what you'll see is events. You won't have a single event, you'll just have the general page for events. I hope you guys understand a little bit further about how the slider works, because we cannot just put everything up there into either pages or posts of a certain category. So now, how is it that we add in this picture? How is it that we add in this title and this little description down here? All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to edit this one particular thing, this 30-hour famine event. All right, so we click on the event, and now we're going to edit this page. Okay, this is actually a post, but they call it a page. Well, please forgive me. But okay, so we have this 30-hour famine. Here's the title, and that's the title that shows up at the very top of the slider. Also, with anything else as well, the image for the slider will show up down here in the featured image. So if you have a blog and that you would like pictures ending up there, you have to put the picture right down here and the events and the featured images. Okay. Now, this excerpt right here. All right, let me zoom in on it. This excerpt right here is the description that goes on beneath it. Otherwise, you will get this. And sometimes this does not look as good as you're wanting it to. So maybe you want to check it out. Okay, and so we're going to put something like that today. So we got an excerpt, and then we have a description, and now we're going to click update. All right, and it has been updated, so we're going to go back to our home page. Here's our home page, and there it is. You see how we have our name right here, and we also have the picture, and we have our excerpt. Now when we click on it, the check it out now is nowhere to be found, but now we have our description. So sometimes what we do is if we have a long description over here, then you can leave a short description over here that gives everybody on the slider the idea about what's happening. Also, when you give it an excerpt, you go over here to your events categories, and you have your excerpt right here. That way you're not giving it all the way right out here in your description. You just have your little excerpt here. Again, if you're just watching this video, I had just duplicated this event before I erased it for the examples.